Okay, right. So the warm-up's exactly the same as what we've done for the past couple of weeks. So I'll re-go through that. Your workout has got quite a few exercises, so we'll spend a little bit of time going through everything. Typical is Gail now, always on time. So I'll spend a little bit of time. Most of the exercises you've done before, there's a few that we've not done, but I'm going to go through everything anyway. And then, like I just mentioned, the workout's changed a little bit from what was planned because it was going to be really bad. It's still bad, but it's not as bad as what it was. So the warm-up, like I said, same as previous week. So you're going to do 5 of the worms, 10 of the toe touches, 10 air squats, and then 10 tuck-ups. So the worms was start at the end of your mat or whatever you stood on. Try and keep your legs as straight as possible. Hands on the floor. Walk out into your press-up position. Once you're in your press-up position, just walk your feet to your hands, stand it back up, turn around, go back out the other way. You're going to do 5 of those, and then you're going to do 10 toe touches. So it's your press-up position, kind of into your downward dog. Left hand towards your right foot, and then drop your hips back down, and then right to left. You're going to do 10 of the toe touches, and then it was going to be 10 bodyweight squats, and then the last one, on your mats, big stretch out, as your arms are coming up, come right up onto your sit bones, tuck your knees in, and all the way back down to the floor. So you've got 10 tuck-ups. So it's 5 worms, 10 toe touches, 10 air squats, 10 tuck-ups. Do that twice, and then I'll explain what we're doing and run through everything with you. Okay? Okay, when you're ready, just set yourself going. So it'll be legs nice and straight. Hands down on the floor, walk out into your press-up position. Keep your legs nice and straight. Walk your feet to your hands, stand up, turn around, go back out the other way. So you can do 5 of the worms. And then once you've done your 5, you've got 10 toe touches. And then once you've done those 10 toe touches, you've just got 10 just bodyweight squats. And once you've done your 10 squats, 10 of your abs exercise, so 10 of the tuck-ups. So just make sure you're coming right up onto your sit bones, right up onto your backside. Whew. And then once you've done 10 tuck-ups, you're just going back into your worms again. So 5 worms. So yeah, if you just keep those legs nice and straight, or as straight as you can on the worms. And on that 5th one, just walk out into your press-up position. And then go into your 10 toe touches. And then just make sure you drop your hips back down after each one. And once you've done your toe touches, back into the 10 squats. And then once you've done those 10 squats, one last lot of your tuck-ups. Whew. Oh, the sun's really bright. So it should be nicely warmed up. Right, you've got, I'm trying to think whether we've done these exercises before. I think we have. You've got 8 exercises. I'll run through each of the exercises and I'll tell you how many reps you're going to be doing. First exercise, you've done these before, 100%. It's 2-handed swings. So for the swings, you just have a little practice of everything. So feet shoulder width apart, knees stay still. You want to hinge at the hips, so think about pushing your butt backwards. Grab the kettlebell with 2 hands, back between the legs, and then you just straighten the legs up as fast as you possibly can. So everything's nice and snappy, nice and relaxed with your upper body. So that's going to be a first exercise. Second exercise, you're going to do sumo squats. So for the sumo squats, you're going to be quite far apart with your feet, so wider than shoulder width. Now I've shut the curtains up so you can see my feet. Turn your toes out a little bit. As you sit down, you want to push your knees out to the side. Grab the kettlebell with 2 hands, and then just stand up. Keep your chest as tall as you can, so you're not hinging at the hips. Just keep your chest up, tap the floor, and then stand up, and then just make sure you've got your knees tracking right over your toes. That's your second exercise. Third exercise, you're going to do an overhead press. I'll do this kneeling down, but you can do it stood up. You want to hold on to your kettlebell by the ball, thumb and fingers locked around the handle, straight up and down overhead. As the kettlebell comes overhead, just make sure you bring your head right the way through your arms. If you find yourself leaning back, so if you find yourself kind of doing this, so you're really struggling, just put one foot behind the other, try and straighten up. If your shoulders give up because you're doing quite a few reps, you can revert to using your legs a little bit, so you can add a little bit of a bouncing if you need to. That'll be your third exercise. Fourth exercise, you're going to do round the body pass. I think we did these last week. Hold on to the corner of the handle. If you want to make it a little bit harder, put your feet together, but pass it around the back, swap hands, pass it around the front and swap hands. So 1 rep is every time you pass it around the front. So that'd be 1, that'd be 2, that'd be 3. Okay. If you want to make it a little bit harder, just go a little bit closer together with your feet. Try and keep your arms as straight as you can. Just make sure you got nothing valuable anywhere nearby. Your fifth exercise, you're going to go back into swings, but you're going to do it one-handed. So your movement's exactly the same, but your mat won't stay in one place. Doesn't really matter which way around you hold the kettlebell. So if you want to hold it so the handle's facing away, if you want to hold it like you would do with 2 hands, you can do it. If you want to add a little bit of a twist in, you can do. Doesn't really make any difference. Movement's exactly the same. So knees stay still, hinge at the hips, grab the kettlebell 1 hand. As you pull back, try and keep your arms parallel if you can. So don't put your hand on your hip or behind your back. Think about trying to keep your arms as parallel as possible. You're going to do all the reps on one side, and then you're going to do the same again on the opposite side. So just make sure, exactly the same as with your 2-handed swings, nice and relaxed with the upper body, but nice and fast with the hips. Oh, I'm knackered already. Your next exercise, I don't expect you to remember any of this, so I will be shouting out what you're supposed to be doing. Your next one, you're going to do goblet squats. So for the goblet squats, don't mind how you hold on. If you want to hold on to the handle, you basically just got to keep the kettlebell up at your chest. If you find it easier holding that way, or if you want to hold it like you do for your overhead press, really don't mind, but feet roughly shoulder width apart. Keep your elbows in. If you can get nice and low, just make sure you've got your elbows on the inside of your knees. And then just keep those feet flat on the floor. Your seventh exercise, you could do thrusters. So your thrusters is basically your squat and then your overhead press put together. So you want to hold on by the ball. You want to squat down nice and low as you're standing up. Shoot that kettlebell up overhead. Squat back down. Shoot that kettlebell back up overhead. So there's no pause between the squat and the press. It's just one fluid, straight up and down exercise. Your last one, this is the slightly confusing one. You're going to be in your press up position. Make sure you've got the kettlebell to one side. If the kettlebell's on your left side, you want to grab it with your right hand, pull it across, plug the right hand down, grab the kettlebell with your left hand, pull it back across. So if you make sure you actually lift the kettlebell up, don't just drag it across the floor, and then try and pull it across with the opposite hand. So if it's on your right side, you want to pull across with your left hand. If it's on your left side, you want to pull across with your right hand. Okay, so your last exercise is pull throughs. Now you're going to do, originally I had you doing, you were going to do 20 reps of everything. And then in between each exercise, you were going to do 10 burpees. So it was going to be a hell of a lot of burpees and a hell of a lot of reps. But what you're going to do instead, this is me being nice, I'm taking out the burpees, but instead of doing it one time through, you're going to do it twice. So you're going to start with the swings, you're going to work your way through all the exercises. Once you've done the pull throughs, you're just going to go back into the swings again. Okay? So it's 20 reps on everything. So it's quite a lot. It'll be 400 reps in total by the time you got through it all. For the around the body pass and the one-handed swings, for the around the body pass, it'd be 20 one way and then 20 the opposite way. And then for the swings, it'd be 20 on one hand and then 20 on the other hand. Okay, to make up the reps. I will keep shouting out what you're doing. Just count to 20 for everything, and I'll keep shouting out your exercises as you're going along. But the first three is two-handed swings, the sumo squats, and then the overhead press. Okay, so you've got 20 reps on each one. Those are the first three, but like I said, I'll keep shouting out what you're supposed to be doing. I've got absolutely no idea how long this is going to take. I'm kind of hoping we've got loads of time left at the end, I'll give you something else to do. I'll try not to put burpees in, but I can't promise. Okay, you ready? So 20 swings to start off with, then 20 sumo squats, and then 20 of your overhead presses. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So nice and relaxed with your upper body, nice and fast with the hips. And then once you've done your 20 reps, you could do sumo squats, so nice wide stance, turn your toes out, tap the floor with the kettlebell, just keep your arms nice and straight, and then stand it up. So just keep your chest as tall as possible. It's a little bit easier if you've got a bigger kettlebell like me, you've got less distance to travel. So just make sure you lock those legs at the top, keep that chest up. And then once you've done these 20 sumo squats, I'll do this kneeling down, but you can do it stood up. You got 20 overhead presses. So if you find yourself leaning back, just pop one leg behind the other, try and straighten up. And then once you've done your overhead press, you've got your round the body pass. You're going to do 20 one way and then 20 opposite way. If you want to make it a little bit harder, put your feet together. Just try and keep your arms as straight as you can. So you're trying to create as big a circle around your body as possible. And then once you've done your 20 one way, oh, nearly dropped it. Go the opposite way. Just be careful when you change direction because it will feel a little bit odd. And then once you've done these round the body passes, you've done 20 each way. You've got 20 of your one-handed swings. So it doesn't matter how you hold onto the kettlebell, obviously hold onto the handle, but it doesn't really matter about your placement. Movement's exactly the same, so knees stay still, hinge at the hips, and then try and keep your arms parallel as possible. Oh, my elbow just clicked. So again, just try and relax the arm off as much as you can. And then once you've done 21 side, just switch it over. And then once you do 20 swings on each side, you got 20 goblet squats. So you want to keep the kettlebell up at your chest. Keep those feet flat on the floor. Try and squat nice and low. So if you're getting all the way down to the bottom, just make sure you got those elbows inside your knees. Oh, I'm boiling. After your goblet squats, you've got thrusters. So it's the squat combined with your overhead press. So again, 20 thrusters. So you want to hold on to the ball. Again, try and get so close to the ceiling. Try and get as low as you can on the squat. And just like your overhead press, just make sure you bring your head through your arms. So the quicker you stand out at the bottom of the squat, easier you're going to find it on your shoulders. And then once you've done your thrusters, you've got the pull throughs. So just make sure you've got your shoulders right over the top of your wrists. Try and keep your hips as still as you can. Lift the kettlebell up with your opposite hand. Pull it across underneath your body. And then just try and keep those hips down. Try and keep them still. If you want to make those pull throughs a little bit easier, just go slightly wider with your feet. They'll just help keep your hips still. So after you've done those pull throughs, you've done one round. So you're just going back into the two-handed swings. So back to the 20 swings when you're ready, once you've done your pull throughs. Get nice and snappy driving those hips forward. And then once you've done your 20 swings, you've got the Sumo Squats. So wide with the feet. Keep the chest up nice and tall. Little tap on the floor. And just make sure you're driving those knees out to the side. And just keep that chest nice and tall. And then once you've done your 20, you've got your overhead press. So again, you can do it stood up. I just do it kneeling down so you can see what I'm doing. So hold on by the ball. Thumb and fingers locked around the handle. If you find yourself leaning back, just put one foot behind the other just to straighten up. And then once you've done your 20, you've got your around the body pass. So again, that'll be 20 in each direction. Okay, if you want to make it a little bit harder, put your feet together. So once you've done 20 one way, switch it round, do 20 the other. So after those presses, you're on the around the body pass. After you've done these passes, you want one-handed swings. So once you get to him, after those passes, 20 swings on one hand and then 20 on the other. Again, just try and relax the upper body off. Let's go 20 on one side, 20 on the other side. And then once you've done your 20 swings, on both sides, you've got 20 of the goblet squats. Whew. So if you hold on, however you want to hold on, but keep the kettlebell up at your chest. Keep those elbows drilled into your sides. And just make sure you're keeping those feet flat on the floor. So if you do need to go fraction wider with your feet, you can do. And then once you've done your 20, whew, 2 exercises left, 20 thrusters. So again, it's another squat, but add the overhead press in. Again, don't pause between the squat and the press, just straight up, straight down. Again, just make sure at the top, bring your head for your arms. Whew. And then once you've done your 20, last exercise is those pull throughs. So you want your press up position at least shoulder width apart with your feet. And you're trying to keep those hips as still as you can. Whew. Oh. So again, 20 of the pull throughs to finish. Whew. If you've got some water, once you finish, you just have a little drink of water and then I'll tell you what you're doing to finish off. Oh. Whew. Okay, so to finish, I think that would have been horrendous with 10 burpees in between each one. I'll make the Friday lot do that, I think. that can do the proper one. To finish off, you're going to do two ab exercises. We'll do 15, 10, and then 5 reps on each one. Your 2 exercises. Your first one, you're going to do heel on toe crunches. So basically, whichever side you're doing, you want to hold your kettlebell up in the air. If you're starting on your right side, you want to cross your left foot. So don't just relax your foot, put your heel on your toe, salute the ceiling, and then try and crunch up. You're not going to get very high up, but think about trying to just reach for the ceiling, then come back down. So you're trying to push your lower back in, reach as high as you can, and then just roll back down. So you're not going to get all the way up. You're only probably going to move maybe a couple of inches. Once you've done your reps on one side, switch your feet over, and then switch the kettlebell over. So again, if it's on your left side, right heel on your left toe, salute the ceiling, push your lower backs down, and then just reach up as high as you can, keeping that arm straight and with the kettlebell straight up. Your second exercise is double crunches. So it's similar to the tuck ups that we did in the warm up. You want to hold onto the kettlebell by the ball. I think we did these the other week actually. Slight bend in the arm, big stretch out overhead, lift the feet up. As you bring in the kettlebell over your head and over your chest, knees come over your hips, reach with the kettlebell over your shins, and then a big stretch out without hitting the floor, and then tuck back in. So again, you're keeping your lower back down. You're not coming all the way up onto your backside, so push your lower back down, and then just think about trying to reach as far as you can over your shins with the kettlebell. Oh, excuse me. So you're going to do 15 of the heel on toe crunches on one side, and then the other side. 15 of the double crunches, and then you'll do 10 of the heel on toe crunches on each side, and then 10 double crunches, and then you'll do 5 on each side for the heel on toe, and then 5 double crunches, and then we'll finish and we'll stretch out. So it's 15, 10, and then 5. Okay, so 15 on both sides, and then 15 crunches, 10 on both sides, and then 10 crunches, and then 5 and 5. Whew. So if we start on the right side, so you want to lock your right arm up. If you can, try and make sure the handle sits at an angle down the palm. So you're not holding like a dumbbell with it pulling back on the wrist. Try and wedge your hand right into the corner. So right arm lets up, left heel on your right toes, salute your ceiling, and then in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So just crunch up. You're only going to get a couple of inches. Just push your lower back down into the mat. And just make sure you're lifting both shoulders up. And then once you've done your 15, just switch hands and then switch your feet over. So if you're on the left side, you want your right heel on your left toes. So again, keep pushing that lower back down. You're probably going to feel it right under your rib cage. And then once you've done your 15, go to your 15 double crunches. So slight bend in the arm, bring the kettlebell back overhead, lift your feet up, keep your lower backs down, reach with that kettlebell over your shins, and then a big stretch out without hitting the floor. So again, just try not to hit the floor with the kettlebell or your feet. You're going to feel it when you have that big stretch out. Whew. And then once you've done your 15 on both, you're going to go to 10 of the heel on toe crunches. So again, if you're on the right side, left heel on your right toe, salute the ceiling. Oh, my abs. So again, you're not going to get very high, a couple of inches maybe. But yeah, just keep pushing that lower back down. Once you've done your 10 on one side, switch sides. And then once you've done 10 of those heel on toe, 10 double crunches. So again, big stretch out without hitting the floor. And then reach as far as you can with that kettlebell over your shins. And then once you've done your 10, you've got 5 to finish. So 5 of the heel on toe crunches. So 5 each side. And then 5 of the double crunches to finish. Whew. I'm done in now. Why does abs never get any easier? So once you've done that round of 5, we'll just have a stretch out once everyone's finished. I think everyone's finished. So if you pop yourselves on your backsides, and then if you just grab the bottom of your heels, so try not to grab your toes, grab your heels, get your chest on your thighs, and then just walk your feet away or slide your feet away. Just go as low as you can, but keeping your chest out, so you're not sitting bolt upright and then just stretching your back out. So tuck your knees in, walk your feet out as far as you can, try and get your forearms down, and then just keep that chest down. And then, like I said, don't grab onto your toes, but try and pull your toes back towards your head. So you should feel it right on the back of the calves, right into your hamstrings. And then if you slowly come out of that, if you leave your, let's go left leg. If you leave your left leg in front, if you can, bring your right leg around the back. So you're going to go into a hurdle stretch. If you have any knee pain, just bring your foot so it's in the front. But if you can't, bring it around the back. Then you want to bend the left leg at the knee, shift your rib cage over your thigh. Again, if you can get your forearms down, try and get your forearms down. And then just straighten that leg up as much as you can. Again, just keep that chest as close down to the thigh as possible. And then if you slowly come out of that and just switch your legs over. So we'll go right leg in front and then left leg behind. The same thing, if you've got any issues with your knees or your hips and you need to bring that foot so it's on the inside of your thigh, you can do. And same thing again, bend your leg at the knee, shift your rib cage over your thigh, try and get your forearms down. And then once you've got those forearms down, try and straighten that leg up. And then again with your toes, trying to grab onto your toes, but point your toes back towards your head. And if you slowly come out of that, leave your right leg in front. You pop yourself into a lunge position and then just try and create a box. I don't know if you can see yourselves on your laptops, but right calf parallel with your left shin, and then lift your left foot up, try and grab your foot, pull your heel in. So you should feel it stretching on your left quad. If you can't feel anything, keep a straight line from your knees, through your hips, up to your shoulders, but just let your hips, let everything just sink forward. So don't just lean forward at the waist. Let your hips drop forward, and then let that right knee come over your toes. So you should feel it pulling right from the top of your kind of hip flexors right the way down the front of the leg. And if you slowly come out of that, then switch your legs over. So again, if you create a box with your calf and your shin, lift the right foot up, pull the heel in. If you can feel it pulling already and stretching the quad, just stay where you are. If you can't, same as that first one, just let your hips sink forward, let the knee come forward, but just keep that straight line all the way from your knee through your hip up to your shoulders. And just keep that heel as tight into your butt as you can. And if you slowly come out of that, just bring your knees so they're right underneath your hips. Big stretch out your arms, leave your butt stuck up in the air, and then just sink your chest and your chin down. So if you get your chin down to the mat or to your floor, and then just look at your hands. So try and look at where your hands are, and then just keep the arms nice and straight. And just try and keep your hips right over the top of your knees. If you slowly come out of that, just bring your toes so they're touching. Pop your knees out to the side. And if you sit back on your heels, you can relax your head down, relax your arms out. Yeah, I say it all the time, it's quite a nice one for your lower back. If you want to get a little bit more of a stretch down your lats, so all the way down the sides of your back, if you keep your hips still, and then just walk your hands over to one side. So you're trying to reach as far across as you can with your arms straight. You should get a big stretch right the way down, kind of from your armpits all the way down your sides. And if you have walked over to one side, just go across to the other side. And then back into the middle. And we're done. Whew. All done, another one survived.